Hi, my friends. Today I am going to show you how I make my very own bone broth. As you can see here, I have my cast iron skillet because I am going to roast these bones for 20 to 30 minutes. Now, you can use whatever kind of bones you want, leftover chicken bones, neck bones. You can use chicken feet. They have a lot of collagen in it, but these are marrow bone, beef marrow bones. Okay. Now, the only thing is you want to try to find it grass fed if you can. So if you can do that, then perfecto. Now I got the marrow because the marrow in the bones, they do contain a lot of benefits. And I'm going to have to do another video explaining to you all of the benefits of bone broth. But I just wanted to show you how to make it because that's what I was actually doing the other day. So I was like, let me just record it. So I have the broth here that I'm making, and I'm adding some pinches of sea salt, and I just wanted to show you the marrow inside of that. So once it boils, it'll boil down. Now, I wanted a concentrated bone broth, so I didn't use that much water. Um, I believe I used 8 cups of water for myself and my son. I wanted it concentrated. Now, keep in mind that you can actually reuse these bones until the water kind of runs clear. So you can do that if you want to, so you can have a large amount of bone broth. But now I'm preparing the broth and I'm adding my veggies. I kind of like cleared out all of the veggies that I had in my refrigerator. So I have a little bit of cilantro, some onions, some peppers, and one important step, I'm squeezing half a lemon in there. You want to throw something acidic in there because that's really going to help pull out all of those minerals and those nutrients from those bones. You can use apple cider vinegar. I forgot to get some, so I did not have apple cider vinegar on hand. So I was like, lemon is just as acidic, so let's do that. Now, this is a part that I don't see a lot of people doing. I think it's important to add your herbs because just like the herbs we use to season our food, they do have some medicinal properties. But when I'm making my bone broth for health reasons, I'm going to throw in some herbs. Okay, so I threw in some burdock, some yellow dock, some plantain leaf, some horsetail, some nettle leaf, just for the added benefits. I also threw in some red pepper. I really like to get my blood pumping first thing in the morning, and I'll usually be drinking this in the mornings. I had some thyme, some rosemary, and another thing that I don't see people doing is, when you're making a broth, whether it's the bone broth, chicken broth, veggie broth, even if it's just for cooking, you can throw in some sea moss. Okay. A lot of people just think that you have to eat sea moss as a gel, and that's not entirely true. Okay. You can use it as a thickening agent in your food, and you can still get some of those added benefits. So that is what I did with my bone broth. I added in some sea moss, and obviously, once this broth starts to boil, it'll kind of disintegrate, and you get all of these extra benefits in your bone broth, and you don't even taste it. And that's like the best part ever. But yeah, so that is what I did. Now, when you're making your bone broth, you want to get it boiling. And this is going to need to simmer anywhere between 4 to 6 to 12 to 24 hours, depending on how much time you have. So I let it boil for a little bit, and then I let it steep covered for about 6 hours. And this is what I ended up with. And in my opinion, it was ready. So I let it cool, and then, you strain it out and you separate it. And then you put it into your container. I have tons of large mason jars. So that is what I added mine to. So after you separate it, you strain it. Now, like I said, you can reuse those bones and add some fresh water and redo this whole process if you have the time. You can do it until your water starts to run clear. That way you can have a bulk amount of bone broth for you, especially if you have a large family. Not for me. I have a small family. We'll just drink about a cup of this in the mornings, and you put that in your mason jar. I thought it was cooler than it was, but it wasn't as cool. So it was still kind of warm, but I'm going to put this in my fridge and we'll warm it and drink it every morning. And as you can see, there is a layer of fat on the top of this, and that is the beef fat. It's saturated. It's really good. If you don't want it, then you can just throw that beef fat away. You can scoop it off once it cools and hardens. You can just trash it or store it so that you can cook with it later. But it is very good for you, and I'm just going to add it in our bone broth and drink it in the mornings just because of the extra benefits. But that is how I make my bone broth, and I hope this has been helpful.